Okay, now before we can start putting content on our blog, there are several things we need to do to get it ready to go. First thing you're going to want to do is we're going to want to remove all the content that's on it. If we look at this blog right now, you'll see that it has just the example posts on it and comments. So what we're going to do is we'll go back to admin here, go to posts, and then we will just delete the post that's here. Same thing with pages. Find the pages tab, delete the page. Okay, so that gets rid of the content that's on there. Now the next thing we should do is set up our categories. So let's go back to posts again. And if we go to categories, we can set up the categories we want. Okay, so the categories we're going to use for starters are videos. And then we'll add that one. And articles. Now we can have further definitions below these. So under articles, I'm also going to have recipes, since I'm making candy. So we come down here to category parent and we go to articles. So you can set up your tree however you like it here. So I'm going to start with these. We have recipes and we have videos. And I think that's all we need for this particular blog. So what we're going to have is we're going to have video content and we're going to have written content as part of our blog. This is what's going to keep people coming back. Okay, then the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go to settings and set a couple things up in here. Okay, we already did this main page here. Now let's go to writing. Okay, now in here, what we can do is add to the update services. These are the pinging services that will be notified anytime a post is made to our blog. We're going to have automatic postings and manual postings, so it's important that we update this list. I've given you a large list of ping services that you can open up and paste them in here. Okay, so here's the list. So all you do is just copy this whole list. And then we just paste it down here. So I'll paste over top of the one that's in there because it's already in the list. And save those changes. Okay, next we need to go to reading. Okay, and then if you want your article feed to be full text or summary, what this is for is if people subscribe to your blog by an RSS feed and read it with an RSS reader, you can determine whether they're going to be able to get full text or summary text here. So that's up to you. It's actually proven that full text will actually get you more traffic to your blog, believe it or not. You would think that summary might because they'd only be able to read a snippet, but that just tends to annoy people. But it's up to you. You set that either way you want. And here we have the number of blog pages that can show at most on one page. And the syndicated feed, how many posts it shows on there for the most recent posts. Okay, so save any changes you make there. Discussion, this is where you can determine if you're going to allow comments. Okay, I suggest that you uncheck the first one at least. I usually uncheck the first two. Now, here you can determine if you want people to be able to comment. If you don't, uncheck this one. If you do, leave it checked. And then down here, you can determine how you want this to work, and you can set up how you want the comments to appear, whether you want them to be moderated or just to appear on your site. I suggest that you have them held from moderation. That way you can be sure that if somebody's just trying to spam your blog, that you can catch it and not have to worry about it getting up there if you don't want it. Okay, so I always check these four here if I'm going to allow somebody to post. Now down here, you can automatically hold things in moderation depending on words that are in the comment, and down here is the same thing, but you can actually blacklist them for having the same words in there. And down here We can have avatars if we want, and you can set them up the way you want them there. Okay, so save any changes you made there. Okay, now privacy. Make sure that it is visible to everyone. So if it's not set to that, make sure that you set it that way. I skip past media because there's nothing we really need to worry about in here. You can take the defaults, which resizes the thumbnails to 150 by 150, and it gives a medium size for the same pictures and a large size. So if you want to change that, you can, but the defaults work fine. Permalinks, this is very important. What this will do is it will allow you to customize the way your URL looks, and it shows you a good example in here. Normally your URL on a page will look like this at the end. I have a question mark, P equals, and the page number. Whereas if you use the custom structure that I'm going to show you, what will happen is it'll have the title in the URL, so you get a keyword-rich URL, and this really helps in the search engine listings. Okay, so check on custom structure and then paste in the following term, and you'll see this term in the resources document. Okay, so it's category and post name. So we set up a video category, so our videos are going to go in there, so we'd have our URL / videos / the name of the video post, which is the title. Okay, and we save changes there. Okay, now you'll notice that some code appeared down here. We actually have to go and change our .htaccess file. So copy all of this. Now what we're going to need to do is go into our cPanel and edit the htaccess file. Or what we can do is we can use our FTP program and download one if it's already there, modify it and re-upload it, or when we can create one on our own computer and then we can upload it using FTP, whichever is easier. Okay, so here's making candy, and there is no .htaccess file in here. It would be right at the beginning of the file, so we don't even have one. So what we can do is we can just open a notepad session like this, paste our content in there, then we can save this to our directory and we'll just call it htaccess. Now if we already had a .htaccess on that site, we would have to download it and then modify it and re-upload it, but there isn't one there right now. Okay, so we can close this. Now let's go find it on our local side here. There's our htaccess.txt. So let's upload that. And then we need to rename it. So just rename it. Get rid of this .txt off the end and put a dot at the front of it. And now we have a .htaccess file. Now, let's say that when we came into FTP, we saw that there was already a .htaccess here like we see now. What we could do is download it. Just right click on it, download it to our computer, and then we can go into our folder here and find .htaccess. There it is there. We can open that with, and WordPad's fine. Okay, and then you would make the change in here and save it, and then re-upload it. It's as simple as that. So basically just download it, add this code to the one that's already there, save it, and re-upload it over top of the one that was there. Okay, so now you would do this and upload it. It would tell you it already exists, and you would let it overwrite. And you would have your .htaccess file. Okay, that allows everything to work properly as far as the permalinks are concerned. Next, miscellaneous. And there's really nothing you have to set in here. This just determines where our uploads go to on our blog, or you can give a full URL path, but you can just take the defaults here. Okay, we've already done all-in-one SEO and WP-O-Matic. Will be done when we start adding content. XML sitemap we've done. So the next thing we need to do is go to appearance and set a couple things here. Let's go to Appearance. And then let's go to Widgets. And widgets simply determine what content is on the sidebar. Okay, and now on this particular theme I have 4 sidebars. Let's go have a look at the site here. Okay, this is one sidebar, and I'll remember there's content that's supposed to be here, but we deleted it. This sidebar is over here. So that's sidebar 1, and then we have 2, 3, and 4. So this is what it looks like by default, but by setting widgets we can change that. Okay, so really the only thing we're going to be showing on our sidebar will be our categories. So move to categories. Okay, so this will show, in our case, videos and articles with recipes underneath it as we posted them. So that's all that's going to be in this category tree. Now I suggest that you show the hierarchy here like that. You can show the post counts if you want as well. Okay, so save that. And then you can close it so it just collapses like that. Okay, the next thing we're going to want to show is the most recent posts. Okay, so grab a hold of that one and drag it up into this space as well. And then you can set the number of recent posts you want to show there, up to 15 on this particular theme. We'll save that. Close. You're also going to want a search on here. Now you can determine where you want that on your sidebars. I'm not actually going to use sidebar 2, 3, and 4 on this theme. I'm going to just leave it as it is. So I'm going to put my search bar actually in this block. Okay, and then I'm going to move it up actually to the top. If you're allowing comments, you will want to put the comments in here as well. If you're not going to allow comments, then there's no need. Okay, so put the comments in there. And you can set how many you're going to show. We'll save it and we'll close. Okay, so our blog is all set up the way we want it now. In the next video, we're going to go over monetization and content.